You know that feeling when you scroll through a sea of gaming laptops, see the glossy photos, the hype-filled specs, and think, this is exactly what I need, only to get the box home and discover the machine feels more like a glorified tablet than a battle-ready rig? I've been there, and I've also talked to a bunch of folks on forums and in comment sections who warned me about the same trap. The problem isn't that the laptops are bad, it's that the expectations set by the listings often don't line up with real-world usage, especially when you're trying to squeeze a desktop-class experience into a 14-inch chassis. That's why today's deep dive is all about the ASUS ROG Zephyrus G14 AI gaming laptop, so you can decide whether it's the portable powerhouse you imagined or just another pretty picture that won't hold up in the long run. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, let's talk about who actually needs a machine like this. If you're a competitive gamer who travels to LAN events, or a content creator who wants to edit 4K footage between matches without lugging a desktop, the G14's blend of size and specs makes a lot of sense. The 14-inch OLED panel pushes 2.8K resolution at 120 Hz, which is a rare combo at this form factor. In practice, that means you can spot enemy headshots a fraction of a second earlier, and the colors stay vibrant even when you're gaming in a dim room. I tried a fast-paced shooter on the OLED screen for an hour straight, and the motion handling stayed buttery smooth. The 120 Hz refresh eliminated the blur that usually makes aiming feel mushy on lower-rate panels. But if you're more of a casual player who mostly sticks to indie titles or a student who needs a laptop for schoolwork, you might be overpaying for a level of performance you'll never fully exploit. The G14 is packing a Ryzen 9 HX370 and an RTX 5080 with 16GB of GDDR7 VRAM, which is essentially a desktop-grade GPU in a notebook. That translates into smooth frame rates in modern AAA games at high settings, but it also drags the price up to a range where a mid-tower PC could give you double the raw horsepower for the same money. So the first decision point is, do you need the raw, portable firepower, or can you be satisfied with a less aggressive, more affordable notebook? Now on to the things that really matter once you've unboxed it. Heat is the first beast you have to tame. The G14's compact body means the cooling system is working overtime, especially when you push the RTX 5080 into demanding titles like Cyberpunk 2077 or the latest open-world RPGs. In my testing, the fans ramped up to a noticeable whine after about 30 minutes of continuous play at max settings. The sound is not ear-splitting, but it does become a background distraction, especially if you're streaming and need a clean audio track. The laptop does manage to keep temperatures under control. CPU cores stayed in the low 80s C, GPU peaked around 85 C, but you'll feel the heat through the palm rest after long sessions. If you plan to game on a couch with the lid open, you might want to invest in a cooling pad to keep the noise and warmth at bay. Speaking of the palm rest, the keyboard feel is surprisingly solid for a machine that thin. The keys have a decent travel distance and a subtle click that gives you feedback without being too loud. The RGB backlight is customizable, which is a nice touch for gamers who want their rig to match their setup. However, the keyboard layout is cramped, especially the arrow keys, which sit close to the function row. If you spend a lot of time navigating menus or using WASD with the thumb cluster, you may find the spacing a little restrictive after a while. It's not a deal-breaker, but it's something to keep in mind if you value ergonomics over pure performance. Battery life is another area where portable gaming laptops tend to make trade-offs, and the G14 is no exception. With a 76Wh battery, ASUS advertises up to 10 hours of mixed usage, but under a gaming load the numbers drop sharply. I logged roughly 3 hours of continuous play in a graphically intensive title before the system prompted me to plug in. That's actually better than many 15-inch gaming laptops, thanks in part to the efficiency of the Ryzen 9 chipset, but you still need to plan for wall power if you intend to game on the go. The good news is that for everyday tasks, web browsing, streaming, light photo editing, the battery stretches to a comfortable 8+ hours, making it a viable daily driver when you're not gaming. Portability is where the G14 shines. It weighs just under 3.5 pounds and fits nicely into a standard backpack. The 14-inch size strikes a sweet spot. It's small enough to slip into a coffee shop bag, yet large enough to provide a comfortable viewing area for both games and productivity work. The built-in USB hub and Thunderbolt-compatible ports give you enough connectivity.